Hello, my name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch. I'm an author and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. And tonight's little chat is about male witches. Something I'm sometimes asked, why do you never discuss male witches? It's certainly not something where I want to give offence, and I don't see any reason why a man can't be a witch. Anyone of any gender, you can be a witch if that's what you feel called to do. The reason I usually use the female pronouns is simply because that's what I'm used to, that's what I know, that's me. A lot of what I talk about when I talk to you is describing myself, but it does apply equally to male and female. And I think this idea that somehow there had to be a very strict division, I don't think that was ever the original intention. Men were tried for witchcraft, but I think you have to remember that the idea of persecuting witches, and they did get persecuted, maybe not in the numbers that some people would have us think in the UK. Europe was a little bit different, but it was very much, it was misogynistic. It was really fired up by a hatred of women and a desire to make sure women were put in their place. We see it with things like certain herbs and plants were not supposed to be brought indoors, like ivy, for example. Now, ivy is a plant which is traditionally viewed as feminine. Holly is traditionally viewed as male. And there were prohibitions on bringing ivy into the home to decorate the hearth one time. Now, what that tells us is that ivy was brought into the home and it did decorate the hearth. And given that usually it fell to women to do the cooking, women and children anyway, it was something that they did, something that meant something to them. And again, you see, this prohibition on things, they did eventually let ivy back into the church decorations, but for a long time they used to have to keep it out of sight as much as possible, just put it in the background and put some other stuff on top of it. So I think the whole idea was very misogynistic. It was very much driven by a desire to persecute women and keep women in their place. I think some men did get caught up in it. Some men worked in villages as what they called cunning men, wise women and cunning men. And what it meant basically was people who were healers. They did divination, they found lost property, things like that. And these things were all right as long as the church controlled it. Once the church couldn't control something, then they brought all their force down to bear on people. So, yes, I think there always have been lots of male witches, just the same as there have been women who feel drawn to witchcraft, but I don't think they've had the same level of publicity. So if I have caused offence to anybody, I do apologise. I haven't intended to. And if you are a man and you are on the verge of becoming a witch, or you feel drawn to it, or if you already consider yourself a witch, hold your head up high. Of course you're a witch. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Doesn't matter what your sexuality or gender is, you can be a witch too. And that's all I've got to say on that. I sound a bit like Forrest Gump there. Okay, thanks very much for listening. Goodbye.